I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting, March 14th, 2024. I'd like to call March. I don't know why I said March. I'd like to call the meeting in order and stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Please sign in the attendance sheet and please turn off your cell phones. The next regular meeting will be on June 11th at 7 p.m. The June audit of claims meeting will be held on the first Monday and the third Monday at 5:30 p.m. It's been brought to our attention this evening that the roll call vote on April 9th meeting, resolution number 84, was incorrect. We're going to correct the meeting minutes to reflect that Councilman Greco voted no against this resolution. Executive session will occur this evening. We have some correspondence available. We won't be reading the correspondence this evening, but you can pick it up to read at your convenience. The supervisor received a letter of resignation from Linda Grace from the Publicity Department effective 5/10/2024 and a verbal notice of resignation from Doug Westcott at Macaulay Mountain. He's a ski area attendant effective 4/26/2024. We thank them both for all they've done for the town of Webb and we wish them luck in the future. We have a vehicle bid. The town of Webb advertised for bids for the new 2023-24 4x4 2500 regular cab with automatic V8. All bids should allow for a 2016 Chevy 2500 trade-in with approximately 49,200 miles. All bids are due to the town clerk on or before May 14th, 2024 at 4 p.m. at the Town of Webb Town Clerk's Office, 3140 State Route 28, Old Forge, New York, 13420. The bid is for a vehicle for the wastewater treatment plant. Bid specs are on file with the town clerk. Could you please read the bid specs? Thank you.
Okay, just this, or the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Please take notice that pursuant to a resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Webb, Herkimer County, New York, and pursuant to law, sealed bids marked bid on the envelope will be received the 14th day of May at 4 p.m. and publicly opened and read aloud that evening at the meeting of said Town Board at 7 p.m. at the Town of Webb Municipal Office Building, 3140 State Route 28, Old Forge, New York, and a contract awarded to the lowest responsible bidder for the following by said board. A new 2023-24 4x4 2500 regular cab automatic V8. Required options: snowplow prep, Fisher Plow X V2, LED flashing light on cab, electric windows and locks, cruise control, reverse camera, AC, tow hitch, splash guards, running boards, spray undercoating, spray and bed liner, 17-inch steel wheels, 265/70/17 all-terrain tires, all-weather rubber floor mats. 2016 Chevy 2500 HD with Fisher XV plow trade-in with 49,200 miles. Said board reserves the right to reject all bids for any reason whatsoever and to withhold the awarding of a contract for said purchase. All bids to be in the hands of the town clerk of the Town of Webb, Old Forge, New York, on or before 4 p.m. on the 14th day of May 2024 and publicly opened and read aloud that evening at the meeting of said town board at 7 p.m. We have two bids.
The Town of Webb reserves the right to reject any and all proposals.
The first one is from Steve Connie Ford. MSRP $52,990, selling price $47,800, accessories $8,000, net trade $13,000, fees $197.50. So the balance would be $42,997.50.
And that's with all of the things that we asked for accessories? $8,000?
The plow is $8,000.
The plow? Okay.
What was the trade-in?
13,000. This one is from Robert Bazil Buick GMC Cadillac. This one is the selling price $52,258. Fees of $272.50. Document fee of $175. Accessories $9,422. Total taxes $5,088.60. Amount finance $67,216.10. Itemized accessories, Fisher plow, 8-foot, 6-inch, $7,877. LED cab lights, $795. Rust protection, $750.
Should they like to trade in on that? Not take this.
Let's see, anything that says trade in. Doesn't show a trade in.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's right there, trade allowance.
So. No, it doesn't say anything about a trade allowance.
Don, what was the total on that one?
This one,
Overall total?
61,680 it says, plus applicable registration tax and DMV. In-stock inventory is available for immediate delivery if some modifications are accepted.
What kind of trucks were those?
2024 GMC Sierra with all requested options. That's from the,
24?
yep, that one's a 24.
How do you determine which one to take when one's got the trade and one doesn't?
Well, the only way
Were they not taking our truck?
we'd have to sell it outright.
Well, you can reject the bid as not responsive. That's missing an element of your request.
If you were to approximate that it was 13K, then the other one is still more expensive, like $6,000.
Yeah, I just did that.
I don't know if that's fair to do.
And what was the other truck?
That was a 2024.
Ford, it was a Ford.
Super Duty.
Go figure.
What would you like to do, guys?
Trying to put us down, we only had one bid, really. Just the other one doesn't match what we asked for, right?
Correct.
Steep.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Steve Pontiac for the 42,9, whatever that was.
42,997.50.
Yep. That's it.
Second.
I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Got discussion on
Oh, discussion, sorry.
Do you remember by chance what we put in the budget for that? We should have probably asked that question. Just, anybody remember that?
I'm gonna guess 50,000.
I think it was over.
It's just a guess on my part.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye.
5 ayes.
Thank you. We have a motion, I'd like a motion to declare the old brass water meters and old brass piston sleeves surplus. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Board discussion.
That's just for,
Oh, down at the well house?
yeah, it's all basically, just a bunch of junk.
And he's gonna look around to see where he can get the best price for that. Any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker,
Aye. We have a resolution scheduling a public hearing on proposed local law number blank 2024, amendment to Article 1 of Chapter 316 of the Town of Webb Code, Lakes and Waterways. Whereas the town board wishes to consider adoption of proposed local law number blank of 2024, amendment to Article 1 of Chapter 316 of the Town of Webb Code entitled Lakes and Waterways, which amendment would provide updated docking restrictions and penalties for unlawfully docking boats or vessels on town-owned docks on the Old Forge Pond from June 15th to September 15th of each year. And whereas adoption of this legislation is authorized by New York State Municipal Home Rule Law 10, and whereas Municipal Home Rule Law 20 requires that the town board to hold a public hearing prior to the adoption of any local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Webb Town Board shall meet and hold a public hearing at the Town Visitor Information Center, 3140 State Route 28, Old Forge, Town of Webb, New York, beginning at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, to hear all interested persons and take any necessary action provided by law concerning proposed local law blank of 2024. Amendments to Article 1, Chapter 316 of the Town of Webb Code, and be it further resolved that the town board further authorizes and directs the Webb Town Clerk to publish and post a notice of the public hearing concerning proposed local law blank of 2024, amendments to Article 1 of Chapter 316 of the Town of Webb Code in the manner provided by law, and to make a copy of the proposed local law available for public inspection in the town clerk's office following the adoption of this resolution and until the public hearing is closed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Board discussion.
Yes, so this is because right now we have a law that says there's no overnight parking, correct?
Correct.
And the reason for this is because it possibly is gonna get changed.
Yes, they'd like to change it to some overnight parking between the June 15th and September 15th.
But we haven't had any of that discussion to date.
Kyle?
I brought it up at the last meeting, asking for a head nod to send to the lawyer to get something written up to bring to a public hearing, to see if we can move forward with it. What it would be is the Pied Piper dock area and behind the tennis courts would be open for overnight parking with 2 reset days, being, I believe I had it down as Thursday and Sunday would be the reset nights, so you can't park there Thursday night or Sunday night into the next day. When we met about 2 years ago, myself, Kirk Gardner, Linda Wheel, and Holly Armandola, that was the best solution that I think all sides were happy with to bring forward to the table. Just trying to bring it forward again and see if we can get any traction on it. And I do understand that we will be having dam work done They said by the end of the 2024 summer season, if that happens, it happens. We just have to, it would just go back to no parking over there while they're doing their work in phases.
So the hearing is June 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you just see how that goes, because it goes into effect June 15th.
Right,
So you'd have to.
But that's just on that proposal?
just on that proposal.
Yeah. He brought it up last
I
meeting
remember
for
that.
hot second.
I remember.
We all said,
I didn't
go for it.
I
see
thought
what
maybe
you-
we'd talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. But, as soon as you can have the hearing anyway, right?
Yep.
But if we have that hearing, like I said, is it just on that proposal, or is it, we can change it at any?
No, it's on this proposal. It's to discuss it. It's not, we don't have a proposal written in here.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
the
asking.
resolution will come after.
Okay. Just to be clear.
Yes, yes. It's just to get the information
Okay.
and hear the public's opinions.
Okay. Good, got it.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
We have a full-time clerk, a motion to appoint Marilyn Monroe, full-time clerk, effective May 13th, 2024, in the publicity office with a 6-month probation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any board discussion?
No, she does a good job over there.
And she, just so the public knows, she was appointed last month as part-time, but Linda Grace left, so Marilyn got the full-time position. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. Full-time highway MEO, a motion to hire a full-time year-round highway MEO. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Board discussion?
No, we need one.
Yep, this is a new position, and Casey's anticipating, he has several going out on medical leave and one on family leave right now, so he needs to have another worker. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. A motion to hire John List to the full-time year-round highway MEO effective May 6, 2024, with a 6-month probation. Do I have a motion? Not yet.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, you got it.
Second,
I'll second.
and board discussion.
Welcome. Happy to have him.
He's gotten his CDL permit already, so he's right on schedule for getting his CDL.
That's what I was gonna ask, if he ended up passing that. Yep.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. Part-time cleaner, like a motion to appoint Michaela Sloan, part-time cleaner, effective 4/22/2024, with a 6-month probation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Any board discussion?
Placing that one we lost, right?
Yes. Thanks for stepping up, Michaela. She's been doing a great job. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. All right, words from the board. I think I'll start this evening. Wastewater treatment plant had a project meeting on Friday. The UV is up and working properly. They're still having some drilling issues with the water table. So they are working to resolve these issues. Alex and Eric are doing a great job with transition, and I thank them for being so involved in that. Macaulay Mountain, the new chairlift is here, and the work should begin shortly. The skylift has been ordered. The skylift is also called the Magic Carpet. Thank you to Herkimer County for the funds to purchase this. The DPW has been replacing water meters, fire hydrants, and replacing valves on the water pumps. They also had a water main break this week. So we thank them for keeping our water coming and keeping it healthy. I would like to reach out to Tony Noma. She was recommended to us as a grant writer that might be able to help us write a grant to encompass all of the town needs instead of going and picking and what our priorities are. She might be able to encompass it all, and we might be able to qualify for one of the larger grants. So with the permission of the board, I would like to reach out to her and talk to her about a possible contract. Is that all right with you guys?
It's all right with me, it's great.
All right. Sounds good. Macaulay Mountain has 4 weddings this year. I feel that we're letting them down. We don't have a deck. Our grounds are going to be under construction. So I would like to propose that we charge a $500 fee to cover the cleaning, the fuel, and the electric for the weekend instead of $500 a day. How do you guys feel about that?
Have they been notified that what's going on up there?
Yes, they have.
And they still want to have their wedding there?
They're going to have their weddings there, but they're not happy,
I would definitely.
which I don't blame them.
Give them a break for sure, I don't know what you guys want.
So do you think that just covering the $500 just to cover the cost of the cleaning, the building, and how do you guys feel about that?
I feel good about it with the construction going up there and what's going on.
Okay.
I'd say you drop the whole thing.
Yeah, but weddings are hard to plan right now. There's a wedding at the end of the
No, the
month.
fee.
Oh, the fees.
Instead of charging $500, can't went that far.
We have expenses that we have to pay for though. I mean, yeah, I understand that. But we still are giving them a building. And the grounds around it, and I've guaranteed that the grounds around it will be picked up and nice for their.
How many days they get through? Did they find 3 or 4? Are
They,
all
get,
around
they
that?
usually rent it for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Are these in the fall, do you know? Or?
No, there's one that in June, and then throughout the summer.
I guess I want Tom on that a little bit. I hate to hit him too hard because we don't know what's gonna be like up there. Other than we do
Right,
have
we're
a
not hitting
building.
them hard, we're giving them $1,000 off. We're just charging them for one day
Very
to
nice.
cover the
Or it covers the expenses.
expenses, is it?
Well, I guess if they agree to that, then I certainly.
I think they'd be very happy.
Yeah.
I think that just coming down some, everybody will be happy. All right, so
I'm okay with that.
I'd like to make a motion to, all right, how do I say this? To charge $500 for the wedding venues that are booked in Macaulay this summer.
And we aren't gonna add, we're gonna add any, or we're gonna?
No, we're
stop
not
it at
adding
that?
anything,
Okay,
no,
that was another,
no.
so just for those
Yep.
weddings.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
excuse me. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Aye.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Supervisor Baker.
Aye. National Grid for snowmaking. As you all know, we received $125,000 from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Right now, snowmaking, National Grid is offering 0% financing for the next 3 years, or 1.99% financing for 5 years. I would like to move forward on going ahead and getting financing for the snowmaking. Or at least
We've got
some what
one.
it's gonna cost.
We've got 125, right? That's
We've
a
got
grant.
125 and we're going nowhere with that.
Yeah, so.
And so we really don't have money to put into it, but if we financed it, especially with 0% for 3 years, that gives us a jump on how to.
My question was gonna be what's the finance total? Do we have an estimate?
No, I just wanna
Not
look
yet.
into it. I'm asking for
Yeah.
permission to look into it right now.
Well, permission to just look into it, that's fine.
Sure,
Because we
yeah.
don't know what that's gonna cost.
Correct.
We had some estimates on replacing or rebuilding pumps and compressors and all that stuff, but we don't have anything solid.
Yeah, next week Kurt and I were gonna meet with hopefully Amelia and Kevin that are here to move forward on getting a finalized price on that.
Perfect.
We haven't set the time yet. date,
Okay.
so- but
We just want
hopefully-
permission to do
Hopefully
it.
next week.
You know, I don't wanna go ahead and just do it. No. All right, perfect on that. It's I got one more thing. It's fun. It's National Police Officer Appreciation Week. National Police Week is May, I don't know why I think it's March. May 12th through the 18th, 2024. It is observed every May during the calendar week in which the 15th falls. It's a National Peace Officer Memorial Day is May 15th. This tradition was started in 1962 by President Kennedy to pay special recognition to law enforcement officers who lost their lives in the line of duty and encourage police personnel safety. So I encourage you, if you see your police officers this week, Ron, thank you, that you thank them and tell them that you appreciate them. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, Mike. Thank
Kyle
you.
first, huh?
What's that?
Kyle, you go first.
No, I went first, so I was going this way.
Want me to start out, huh?
I started.
Great. Well, first of all, I've spent a lot of time researching and not sleeping and thinking and beating myself up. As you all know, most of you know that I've been on the town board for quite some time, and I have been very much involved in snowmobiling. And I wrote up a little history thing. Not that it means a whole heck of a lot, but there is some history with this town. That this is just me speaking, but I do believe that this town has spent a lot of time and effort on snowmobiling, and we care a very lot about snowmobiling. So any of the comments out there, the negatives, think that this board or any of the other boards does not care about snowmobiling, to me is a horrible statement. But there's a little bit of history here, and I'm gonna ask Don to read it because I won't be able to get through it all.
Over 50 years ago, our town's leaders had an idea that snowmobiling could bring people to the Old Forge area in the winter when the town was empty, and this would expand our tourist season. Turns out it was a stroke of genius. The town of Webb did not own all land that it would require to bring the plan to fruition. Through hard work and planning, the town board and supervisor found that the best way to create an attractive trail system would benefit our town and its residents and visitors for years to come was to eminent domain to the land we needed. Then came the big question: how do we pay for all this without sticking it to the taxpayers? The answer: a permit system, which Inlet got on board with in the 80s. It's kept our trails in top shape and brought in cash without squeezing locals dry. Thanks to those trails, we've seen more visitors year-round, helping out local businesses and bringing in more tax dollars for both towns. Sure, snowmobiling's had its ups and downs, especially lately with milder winters. I remember years ago when there were many snowmobile dealers. Now it's down to just 3. But folks still love it, and our towns have put a serious work to keep the fun going. So why all the griping? Yeah, there's always room to improve. But let's not forget the hard work our towns put in to make these trails top-notch. When you buy a trail pass, you're getting access to some of the best trails around. Now on to another gem, Macaulay Mountain. It might not be a fancy public park with all the bells and whistles like pools, multiple basketball courts, pickleball courts, tennis courts, and skate parks, but it's ours. Families have been hitting those slopes for generations, and with free skiing for kids and affordable lift tickets, It's a spot where everyone can have a blast. Not everyone's into skiing, and that's okay, but Macaulay Mountain is a big part of who we are as a town. It's a place where folks can get outside and enjoy nature, whether they're hitting the slopes or hiking and biking in the warmer months. And that's something worth celebrating. Some people say that snowmobiling pays for Macaulay Mountain, and that's not accurate. Snowmobile permit revenues goes into the snowmobile fund. That fund pays for the maintenance and upkeep on the trails. That fund is dedicated just to expenses related to snowmobiling. So let's keep in mind the bigger picture here. Our town had a vision over 50 years ago, and snowmobiling turned out to be a game changer, extending our tourist season, bringing in more opportunities for everyone, and paving the way for the vibrant community we cherish today. Despite the challenges, our town has worked hard to keep the trails thriving. When you snag a trail pass, you're not just getting access to some of the best trails around, you're investing in our community. And let's not forget about Macaulay Mountain. It might not have all the fancy amenities of other public parks, but it's a beloved spot where families have been making memories for generations. Whether you're shredding scopes or soaking in the scenery or enjoying the snowmobiling, it's all about enjoying the beauty of our town and everything it has to offer. While challenges have arisen, our dedication to preserving our natural landscape and recreational opportunities remains unwavering. As we continue to enjoy the benefits of these efforts, let's remember the collective commitment that has shaped our town's identity and fostered a legacy of outdoor enjoyment for generations to come.
So that's just a whole bunch of notes that I had written down, and I did have help with wording because I'm not very good at that and spelling, so I did have spell check and everything. And one of the comments in there that didn't get quite right is, many, many years ago, there was hundreds of manufacturers. There's 3. New York State and many other states have lots and lots and lots of dealers. They're going away like crazy. So to say that we aren't doing our part in snowmobiling, I'm sorry. Mother Nature has a little bit to do with it, and many other things have a lot to do with snowmobiling. It's not just the fact that we're not doing our part. So that's a little bit of where I'm going with a few things. I know there's a zillion questions out there about a million things that are going on, but I also have to say this tonight, and I'm going to say this. I did watch Inlet's town board meeting, and I did hear Mr. Fry say that we didn't reach out to try to correct some of the problems. And I can tell you for a fact, I tried to get a hold of Mr. Fry many, many, many times and never got a call back. So I just want for the record, because when I hear something negative, I have to respond. And I was told not to, but darn it, I have to respond. The other thing with Macaulay Mountain, this town board, when we were able to get a hold of that chairlift, which is well needed, and many other upgrades for Macaulay, we have a fund balance, and we put money from our fund balance to cover the cost of that project. It has nothing to do with any other taxpayer money, sales tax money, or nothing. At this point is what we put aside for that project. And I guess that's all I'm going to say tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Tom?
Well, I got a couple things. I got a little letter, but a couple other things to address quick. That income survey that we got is ongoing, and John Pizik down there, Herkimer County, Pat Russell, and the $250K for that Magic Carpet ride, and then paying for this income survey. I think we should. John's emailed me about the top those things of desires for us with Herkimer County. I think he's mentioned nobody's responded to it yet, so we could get that sent over to him, or
That's what we're doing with the lady, the Noma that I just talked about.
okay.
So I thought we'd get that together with her.
Okay. Another thing, that zoning review, I feel like is close to being readily available for review. I think we're in a good spot with that. There's some good work being done on that to get that to at least get to a public hearing so we can discuss it with the public. Scott Gaffney, Hannah Wheaton, and I were up at the tennis court up there in Big Moose, right on Big Moose Road, that's been a little neglected. We've had a couple concerned residents up there, like, what's the deal, who takes care of it, what do we do with it and all that. So we came up with a plan to, Scott's gonna really put some care into it, and then Hannah's gonna do her thing. She's great with all things recreation, so she came up with an idea to do the pickleball courts the other way on each side. So unfortunately, we can't deal with bringing more nets there or anything like that, but if anybody in Big Moose, when this is all done, which hopefully will be sometime in June, if you could bring a net or something, they have those portable nets, you can use both sides. They're gonna clean the limbs up. They're gonna try and do a little walkway on our property. It's really tough there because it's not really, there's not really too much property, and it was actually deeded to be as a tennis court, as a gift to us, so it really can't be anything else. I don't think we could even change it from being a tennis court as well as a pickleball court. So that was pretty good stuff up there. Transfer station, our boy Junior up there, he's losing it, but he's sticking with it. For some people, I get it. We all got these expensive trucks and whatnot, and we don't want a sticker on it. This is just a cling, just so you guys know. It just goes on and comes off, so it rarely bothers you that much. You can pull it off. And I know it's a change, it's a frustrating one, I get it, but everywhere you go, every town there is doing something to battle the cost of removal and hauling, right? And also keep in mind, how often are we worried, us locals, residents, taxpayers, whoever, we're always, what's out there for us, what's out there? Well, this is one of the things, this is for us, this is for our use. We hope it develops into being able to get some C&D up there and do some more up there. So I would, I know it's hard, it changes your routine and whatnot, but we're going to develop it. It's going to be easier to figure out. The inlet meeting, I went up there. It was on my own behalf. I didn't go on the town web board. I made that clear in the beginning. I have a strong feeling towards this for about 18 months now. We never put anything in motion just to pay 50 grand. It was never voted on or anything. I've been against it from day one. It never made sense to me to do that. So there's always been the discussion about litigation. We can't talk about this. We can't do that because there's litigation. There's never been actual litigation. Pending litigation can be anything. Anything can be pending litigation. So I went up there. I really had a lot of respect for how Inlet did things. There's a mindset that I don't know, working. I think I am working with them. That's what I try to do in everything I do in life, is work together with people. But I really think that we're really missing the boat on this whole permit thing, because the amount of money we've probably spent in lawyer fees probably would have already covered the difference in that $37,000 that we owe them. I would encourage people to really take into consideration that we have a winter economy that is not doing well. Okay, we all understand that there's not snow, and that might not be the answer. So when we combat that, is it really the time to fire up even more and take away something that we all have and show? And I'm sorry, I said this earlier, but inlet going free and us having a permit is not going to just be like this big booming inlet, or us, do vice versa. If we have a trail system that we really maintain without inlet, it's just not going to. It's the whole region in general. I know I said this, that inlet. I don't mean to be repetitive, but we are so connected. We all come in on this little tiny road, and then we have this region that is desirable for people to visit. And I think it's really silly of us to fight over that amount of money when we're throwing money all over the place. Big supporter of all the mountain stuff. I get really frustrated with that whole mountain. Like, it's not relative, to me. I'm sorry. I think it should not be compared. I don't think it should be talked about. What's there is what's there, and what's here is what's there. I think that at this time, we also have to understand, over the last 2 years we've been going on this, it's going to be last year, now it's going to be this year, right? It's going to come up again. What about 23, 24 money? The sales are dropping, and the sticker says, right, what's it say? Town of Webb, Town of Inlet, right on there. So to determine what we're going to pay them, an amount that they haven't agreed to, is that really fair business? And through this whole thing, they've stuck to their bones about not going after litigation, just being paid what they deserve. There's some stuff going around with expenses, what we pay, what they pay, and all of that goes into it. And it's just kind of frustrating because it just boils down to the 14%. And I feel like a lot of the times we spoke about this, which was at the Monday meeting, it kind of came up with Mike, and I think Don verified it. Some people had a misconception that Inlet gets what they sell, and then we pay them 14% on top of that. That's not the case. We simply pay them 14% of sales. I think this whole system is really confusing. I don't really think it's fair for us to. I think we also need to think about the plan here moving forward. If we're not going to pay them, that probably means we're not going to go back into this permit system with them, right? So what is our solution to that? A couple things came up, drop our price to $60, and now that we're not paying them that, we just get all the money. That kind of contradicts this whole thing, and we have lesser of an attraction. We talked about just leaving it as is. Well, what does that say? We just lost a huge portion of what we do. The miles, from what I understand, it comes up 14 miles. I don't think that's true. It's at this point still being counted, but it's 32 miles plus. I just think, I really truly think we as a board need to reconsider paying them and then figuring out what to do moving forward, because we're still going to have to come up with something for the snowmobilers in the permit system. I get it. Everybody snowmobiles. I go to the mountain. I coach basketball, whatever the heck it is, But you have to understand, if we take a big chunk out of this winter economy, your stores are going to be shut down. Your volunteers are going to be gone. Your youth sports are going to be gone. Everything that we offer here is going to be gone if people have to leave here because they have no way to make ends meet financially. We are a tourist town. Whether you want to get on board with that or not, we've been a tourist town for the longest time, and I think we have a duty to protect that. And fighting over the amount of money at this time, after a really poor winter, just does not seem the way to do it. There's the plan afterwards, I don't really want to dive into at this point right now. I think that's for a whole nother conversation. Don't you agree with that, Mike? Or to what we can do. I think that's for another time. But I would at least like to make a resolution to pay Inlet that, to reopen that, to pay them that 37. And I'm just one vote. But that's where I'm at with that whole piece.
So there was action taken at the last meeting on this issue. The matter was debated and dispensed with, and this issue is closed. We made a decision last month, 4-1. So why are we bringing this back up right now?
I'm just making a resolution. If it gets seconded for discussion,
Okay.
then that's fantastic. And if it
All right.
doesn't, we move on.
Do we have a second?
That's
You're
all.
making a motion, Tom.
Yeah, I'm just making
A motion, not a resolution?
Just make a motion. That's
Okay. Do we have a second?
We get it. We go on to the next.
Well, there's a lot, I believe there's more to the discussion than press release. First of all, we had a letter that basically said, pay us the money, and we had to say yes or no at that moment, at that meeting. We didn't really get a chance to negotiate, we didn't get a chance to talk like we were supposed to. After the one meeting that we had here, we were supposed to get back together and discuss this situation, and it never happened. The next thing is we get a letter, and that unfortunately put us under the gun.
I get what you're saying, but I think there's something
And
to
I
be
think
said.
there should be some more discussion on, first of all, I don't know if Inlet is even willing to talk.
I
have no idea.
But I don't think it should be so much about the talk and what's moving forward. I think it's to what is owed to a partner that we had for
I
so
hear you.
long.
I hear you on
And an email on termination or whatever, to me, is not enough for us to end all, and then just say it's okay for us not to pay that money.
I'm not disagreeing that some of what you're saying is correct, but I did hear in their meeting that one of the council members said they were definitely never gonna change and they wanna do zero.
I don't think we're gonna come to an agreement until we all get in a room together.
And I think we need to. That's,
I'm
I
not-
think
So do
that's
I,
what this
I've
whole
been asking
discussion's
for
all
it
about.
for
But I'm not
over a
trying,
year.
I'm not trying to go to an agreement moving forward. I'm trying to honor
I know, you have a motion on the floor.
towns. They're both.
You
our
have a
names are
motion on the
it.
floor, I know. So do we have a second on that motion? All right,
Really?
we're moving on.
You guys kidding?
Do you have anything
All
else?
we asked for is a discussion. That's all we've ever asked for a very long time. I want you guys to know this. This has been going on for a very long time. This isn't just happened last month or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. This started, I'm gonna tell you, probably 12 years ago, we asked to sit down, and we did sit down, and we discussed a few things. Town of Webb discussed. One of the things was we kind of would like to look at a budgeting number that we could work with that wasn't a percent, which who knows where that would have gone, but it was something the town, we could look at without having to go, because all of a sudden you get a really good year and we didn't budget for that. We had to dig into our money and say, holy cow, we didn't budget for that. And I know there's a lot of arguments out there about that, but we just asked that question. That's
We
what
just would
started.
like to get in a room with Inlet again
Mike, that doesn't
and
make
try to
any
work
sense.
this out.
You're-
There's no public comment right now.
14%.
You're not gonna be
Excuse
able
me.
to talk, Paul.
Paul, there's no public comment right
Right
now.
now, I'll say what I gotta say.
I'm
It
just
comes
saying,
down
I-
to money that you take in from permit sales. Pay the people what you owe them.
And I'd like to mention too, when we did talk with Inlet, it was like, we're not in the same level playing field. It's like we sat up here, they sat in the audience, like just because they're 14% owners doesn't mean they're not an equal partner. They might get 14% of what's going on, but they're still in the same mix. For us to just be like, we're paying you 50 grand, leave us alone, and to be upset with them coming back and saying we want the rest of our money, I think you just need to very much consider what you're doing moving forward. That's the last thing I'll say on it, but I have more stuff to talk about.
Thank you. Go ahead with the rest of what you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, there's just some issues over the last few months I'd like to address. I try to stay on course with the goals and aspirations I have for the betterment of this town. A few mishandlings have become too frustrating to put aside. Since January 2024, I've been involved in several personnel discussions. Some votes have brought us to, we've come to an agreement on. Most we have not. The tone and the mindset directed towards our workforce, our town employees, is not one I've been proud of. I find it dismissive, disrespectful, and a liability for our town moving forward when it comes to trying to get people to work here and be a part of it. I'm trying to let people know in general that there is, I have a care for that, not to say that anybody up here does not, but I hope we can find a way to do a little bit of a better job. A specific example to this played out publicly with a resolution to remove the healthcare stipend. With no previous discussion, a resolution was made on March 12th to be effective on March 1st, 3 days prior to the hiring of 2 new employees. With only 4 board members present, the vote was tied after Councilman Ross bravely changed his stance. The supervisor insisted we bring this back up at the next meeting when all 5 board members are present. For now, this important benefit to town Webb employees has been preserved, but I think it should be known that it definitely put a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of our people here that are the real ones that make this town go. The snowmobile permit deal, on February 28th, with no public discussion, an email was written to the town of Inlet supervisor on the Webb board's behalf stating we are terminating the contract. I had no knowledge of this email. It was brought to my attention by the public. When I asked for a copy of that email, the one I received was dated February 27th and did not match the one that was sent to the town of Inlet. I believe I was left out of this discussion because I support continuing to work cooperatively with the town of Inlet. I've publicly tried to discuss this with our town board. I've been shut down. This is the most discussion we've ever had on it because I think that litigation thing got tossed out the window, which we thank you for now. I've been shut down. At the March 12th meeting, a motion was made to go in executive session to discuss, among other things, the town of Webb snowmobile permits. I wanted to be clear at the end of that meeting with the public that we weren't going to discuss the intermunicipal agreement between the towns. And I kind of got hollered at, shunned at, and I just wanted everybody to know that we did not talk about this agreement in that executive session meeting. Following that meeting, rather than have productive discussion, the town board received a misleading and accusatory email from our town clerk directed at me. I reached out to the Association of Towns and spoke to a lawyer that works for the Attorney General's office. In response to my questions, the lawyer explained it like this. The belief of the town's attorney that a decision adverse to the petitioner would almost certainly lead to litigation does not justify the conduct of this public business in an executive session. To accept this argument would be to accept the view that any public body could bar the public from its meetings, simply are expressing the fear that litigation may result from actions taken therein. Such a view would be contrary to both the letter and the spirit of the exception. Basically just saying we could use fear of litigation or pending litigation on anything. It's just not something that should be shutting us down from discussion up here. This stuff, again, honest mistakes, I guess it just keeps happening to me. A resolution was made in April to not pay the town of Inlet $37,208.20. A resolution I adamantly was against and voted nay to. When the minutes were transcribed, they said I voted aye, and the town of Webb board unanimously voted to withhold the funds. That's printed all everywhere. It's in paper, it's on the online media, it's everywhere. My name's attached to it, and maybe it was an honest mistake, but these honest mistakes just seem like they keep happening. Public discussion took place at the Monday, May 6th audit claims meeting. Discussion which I felt was relevant to the snowmobile permit topic. It was last week. There's no public record of that meeting as it was apparently lost. I asked for it. The time spent on these topics has been detrimental to the reputation of our town. We need to be working towards better housing opportunities, proactive economic planning, appreciation of our employees, cooperation with our neighbors, and an openness to embrace participation from all in accordance with our master plan. And this will lead to a brighter future for our entire region overall.
Well, I wasn't going to discuss this, but since you brought it up and talked about it, I would like to talk about snowmobiling. I am pro snowmobiling. I am for an agreement between the town of Webb and town of Inlet. But I want to talk about, not about percentage money, it's the dollars spent. It's talking about per unit, which is per miles. And between what we have in the town of Webb, our annual budget for 2024 was $663,585, which comes to a cost of $5,225.08 per mile. So for then that's for 127 miles of trails that we grew. And I want to talk about when the Inlet is 25 miles of trails that they grew that I calculated with information that I got from their board meetings and their May 24th meeting between Old Forge and Inlet. Which that cost comes for the 2022-2023 season to $6,173 per mile, so the 154,000. The average annual reimbursement from 2018 to 2022 was $168,554, which comes to per mile $6,742. I want to be fair and I want to work something out, but it's the cost per mile between the two. I want to figure that out, come up with a fair agreement. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Ben. Kyle?
I don't have much. On April 30th, Supervisor Baker and myself met with the Acting Superintendent Jennifer Dunn and Board Vice President Holly Armandola to discuss a new lease agreement with the school for the use of the house where Sharp is located. I met with them again a week later for a regular scheduled school liaison meeting. The school has purchased and will be installing a new sunshade on the backstop of the baseball field at the school to combat the glare of the sun in the players' eyes. The school project is moving forward as planned. They already had new cafeteria and equipment installed over the spring break. Any and all information can be found on the school's website. If you go to www.townofwebbschool.org, go to the quick link section on the right-hand side, and you will find Maintenance Project 2023. Click on that and it's got all your information. I know tonight they're having their budget hearing, same time we were having our meeting, but everyone should have received one of these in the mail. It kind of highlights what they're doing this year as far as the budget goes. Something to look at. I want to thank Casey and the Highway Department for all they've been doing the past couple months, sweeping and cleaning up the sides of the roads, throwing down new topsoil and seed throughout the past couple of months. And also they're working on a road project right now up in Big Moose. I want to hats off to that crew for everything that they do. Macaulay Mountain Supervisor Baker touched base on it a little bit. We've been receiving the new parts of the chairlift that's coming. I know the engineer and surveyor will be here this Thursday to finalize the line placement of the new hall lift. I want to say something about the recreation department. Even though we weren't able to have our first karate tournament last month, I'd like to give a big shout out to Sensei, who's here tonight, and Hannah for all the hard work that they've put into all the various programs within the recreation department. You got a huge following with your karate program, and that's great to see. Hannah's been doing an awesome job. There's a toy box, I believe, that was delivered today or yesterday on the beach. That was pretty cool. I'm excited to see what she has going forward, especially for the summer months. I know she's got some summer programs lined up. And that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you very much. At this time, I would like a motion to go into executive session to discuss the medical and financial history of a particular employee. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We don't anticipate taking any action this evening. Thank you all very much for coming.
You have 3 members of the Inlet Town Board here tonight. Why don't you set a meeting right now? You have the town clerk, you have the
They
info
can
center.
call our office and set a meeting.
Set a meeting right now. They're here in
Supervisor
person.
Fry can
You've got a
come.
majority of them right here.
Thank you.
Where's the proof that you ever contacted any of them? Do you have certified letters? Do you have emails? Do you have voicemails? Make it work.
$1.1 million. Thank you for having us.
I'd like a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay.
All right. We have a concern about the project that's connecting Cherokee to Mohawk. I know I spoke with the gentleman from 911 down in Herkimer, stating his concern and the reason why all this is going on.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna stop you for a second. Dawn, did we turn the camera back on?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I didn't see the red light, sorry.
And then this is part of the correspondence in the beginning where you, just for the record, Don, where you said there's some correspondence.
Correct.
That they can be seen if people needed to. That's what you guys are referring to.
Do I have to tell everybody else that's out there that they should be able to
Yeah,
come in?
that they can come back
You're
here.
allowed to come in here.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
No.
That was a while.
So I understand that the reason why this is going through is for 911. And we have 2 properties that are getting affected by the widening of the road. Our land was surveyed, the other side of the road wasn't. Right now, there's a driveway that is, our property is going to have a new address. The one other property isn't, but it's still gonna, he wants to take away some property there, and it's gonna impact both of them. The driveway is a very big concern of mine, because it doesn't have much now. And if he tries to come our way, it's gonna take away the driveway. They can go the other way. I've owned that property. I know what it is. I mean, it's able to be taken some out of there, but it's not surveyed. I don't know how it's gonna affect that side. And right now, everything that he's done, we have water coming on our property and eroding it. So, I mean, I'm very familiar with up there. Actually, when they changed some of that, I took my own tractor up there and made a swale across the road, diverting the water from coming down the hill, and put a pipe in there. And it's still in there. But the swale's gone, he raised the road, now all the water's coming down onto our property. I showed proof, nothing's getting done. I understand.
Was Casey up there? Did Casey come up there?
He's been up there, yeah.
Nobody's come to us to talk to us about what's happening. We showed up and there's markers, a land survey, trees are cut down. Nobody has told us anything about what's going on. And that's what we're
I
trying to
did
find
walk
out.
that property with him when he first was showing what he was gonna do up there, but since I haven't been up there, so I'm sorry, I don't know the exact situation. Personally, I don't know if you guys do, but
Yeah, I was up there. I went up there. There's I mean, we was up there for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and you know where they parked their vehicle.
It's gonna be right.
It's gonna take away almost enough room for a car to widen the road to keep going up. And the whole discussion is, why does the road need to be widened? I guess is where I was at. Did 911 confirm or 911?
For a true 911, they want to connect it, but it's an ongoing, just like Mohawk Road. Is it Mohawk Road West, Mohawk Drive? Well, I understand. You know, there's a lot of roads around here, and you know, the guy was great. I was going to meet him up here last Wednesday, but I had some prior things. So,
But at the end of the day, you're looking for like
to save
the
my
actual
driveway?
documentation plan of what is going on,
Right.
so it doesn't result in you not even having.
Yeah, I mean, if you
That's
run
how I
it,
understood
yeah, the proper. If you want to take the land, I don't want to pay taxes on it anymore. I mean, I'm going to get a new address. You know, how are we going to get
911
compensated?
plan, right?
I haven't seen the writing in it, but it's been set, right? A lot of things are set.
He just has to get it so the ambulance knows where to go. Fire trucks, I understand it. You know, what are you gonna make the road, what the name is gonna be is all on him and Casey and all that. It's just, we can't, you know, take away the driveway for that residence. And that's the only one, I mean, yes, it's side by side, there's two properties there, but we get two taxes, you know, and we really need that driveway there for that one residence.
And I mean, for 911, why does the road have to be widened? It's wide enough, there's campers up there. There's big campers. So why does the road have to be widened to give them a 911 service?
They give you that answer? You said you talked to him, right?
I talked to him, he's still dealing.
911, I'm saying. though.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
911.
yeah, I called down to Herkimer and talked to him, he looked up our properties, the whole night, he says, yeah, one's on whatever Mohawk you wanna call it, and one's on Cherokee, which, if you wanna call it that. It's, you know, this is a whole headache that he has with it, but still, I mean, it's been like this for a long time. Cherokee has been a paper road, so that's.
So we just basically want answers as to why, how will we be compensated? Why weren't we notified? It was all in the email that we sent to you guys. We're looking for answers.
I mean, the other side, you know, if you walked it, you know, it's a little bit of a,
So the other side, there's that big rock, right?
well,
Yeah, there's
actually, there's
rocks.
one on our side too that marks where the driveway is, basically.
Yeah.
That he said he was worried about taking it.
It's the
You
smaller
know.
of the two.
You know, the other side, they cut already the trees and did all that. You can cut into that bank around the driveway area at least.
Yeah.
But then, if you're gonna take some other property, are we getting compensated? What, you know, what's the next process we have to go through? That's,
The other residents, the erosion you're talking about is very clear to see. It's on the
Yeah,
back
I
side
mean,
of the drive, doesn't get it. There's
do I have to bring my tractor out?
No.
We have pictures.
You know, the behind
Talk to Casey about it.
behind our property
Yeah.
has been filled in from the town. It was a huge ravine where the water used to go.
Right, right.
He filled it.
Up above, up on the hill.
Yeah, just adjacent to our property. So it took away the natural drainage, and now it's all coming down. Which, I mean, I'd like to get it, you know, before it erodes too bad.
Right.
So what do we do?
Well, I think the first thing is to have a meeting with Casey and go up there and see what we can fix. I personally didn't have to go up there with Casey recently, so
I think
will.
getting some documentation on why and where and, you know, what from the county or whoever from 911 who's saying it needs to be widened.
Well, there might be if
might
it's
be
gonna
an
turn
ideal
into a
thing.
town road, it probably has to have a certain
Yeah.
width, and
Can I stick my 2 cents in?
Planning board, Eddie, yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm the bookworm, I guess, right, Garrett?
Yep.
I don't know your situation, sir, but I'm taking a stab here.
Yeah.
I know in the New York Fire Code, there's a standard width for fire trucks. And it sounds like maybe they're going after that. A standard width and a standard.
Do you know what that is?
No, not off the top of my head.
Are we gonna change Hollywood Hills?
No, but if this is something new, they may be trying to bring it up to standard.
Being that,
Yeah.
it's, I believe that the standard width is 12 feet wide, 15 feet high.
Well, that
That sounds right.
That's what is standard width for a fire truck egress, because something we've been looking at with the planning board, because there are a lot of issues around town with.
I have the paper, but it's home.
So.
We've been trying to meet that as we go forward with new projects.
By now?
Yeah.
And maybe because it's new, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
And if we're going that wide, I mean, there's a lot of drainage and,
Yeah.
you know, all that can't come out of our
Information
side.
and all that stuff. Right.
That's, you know, he has a plan, I'd like to know about it. That's all.
Yeah, we'd like to be
We'll find that
included
out.
on what's going
Yeah.
on.
Then we can go forward from there.
I think he stopped since this a little bit. Right?
Yeah, he-
So he's
Yeah,
stopped
he's up
since
in
this.
Big
But I think
News.
his goal is to appease what he's been being told from the 911 person.
Right.
So, or two different ways or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe just look more into it. So, right? Till we get those actual numbers.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah, I think
And will
Give
we
us some
be
time, I guess.
there's gotta be a
notified?
solution.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
We'll be notified before anything else takes place, or like, we don't wanna just come up one day and,
Who's
Probably
doing
fair to
this?
say. I was
Is
up there.
Casey doing the work up there, or is it 911 doing the work?
Casey was building the road.
yeah, Casey's doing it all. The guy from 911 is just trying to get all the addresses and
All right.
what is gonna be the name.
Casey, all right. Sounds
Thank you.
great. We'll
Thank
give
you.
an answer.
No,
Thank
thanks.
you
Thank you.
for your concerns. Who's next? Gary.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gary Starr. I'm the president of the Old Forge Volunteer Ambulance. And I'm here to kind of make a statement about what was done at the April board meeting. To the board members and Supervisor Baker, I would like to bring up a point of interest that occurred at the April Town Board meeting concerning the Old Forge Volunteer Ambulance. At that meeting, the supervisor stated to the Town Board that the Ambulance Corps was asking for an additional amount of money, $300,000, to be paid to the Ambulance Corps upfront. That statement is incorrect. There is no mention of that statement in any of the discussions that occurred with the town and between the attorneys. And so I just want to make it put on record that that was an incorrect statement that was publicly presented. Any questions about the contract?
No, our attorney told us that that's what they wanted, was the $300,000 up front.
No.
So, no, our attorney.
He's wrong.
That.
He's wrong. And I'm going to make a statement.
Okay.
The town attorney, from the first contract that was put out, screwed that one up. And we've been battling with that contract ever since. This statement, and I read to you, Bonnie, that the number of different contracts that our attorney has gone over and the town's attorney has battled back and forth with wording and stuff, nothing in any of them says we want that money up front. It's always been very transparent that the $300,000 was an amount that the town presented to us for revenue recovery, which, if you don't know what that is, that's billing patients for ambulance service. All right? And the revenue recovery money goes into a private account for a whole year. So right now, anything that is collected through billing for the 2024 season won't be available to us until 2025, okay? And so why would there have ever been a statement that says we wanted that money up front?
Because that's what our attorney told us.
Well,
they wanted,
he
so-
screwed up,
Okay.
and it caused you guys to have a negative vote.
It definitely did, because I remember asking the question, like, what does this even mean? I
Right,
didn't even understand it.
and we, even from the beginning of the discussions about going into an ambulance district, sitting in here talking about being very transparent, and what even exists is that the old contract that we had with the town to pay for the ALS service, there's revenue recovery in that contract, and that's the same wording we wanted to carry over into this new district contract. And
That's
so
how we all understood it until the attorney told us you wanted $300,000 up front.
we didn't- never, in any of the,
I guess on behalf of, I guess I'd like to apologize. you know,
Exactly,
On
I
behalf
mean-
of the town board, I mean, I didn't, that popped up and I'm like, wait, I thought we already had this settled and now they want to, that's why we voted nay.
That's why we all, that's
And
what we
I-
all
I didn't
thought
know where
that.
that came from, where the discussion was, so.
I even talked to our attorney. I said, what's going on here? Why is this like this? And he didn't know. And those two guys have been going back and forth, you know, and I would like to see something in writing if that was the case, but I've got a number of different contracts here that we've looked over and marked up and have been reviewed, where that's not even part of the agreement.
On Friday, I called the attorney and asked him if our attorneys had talked, and he said no.
Well,
So I don't know where I mean,
attorneys are attorneys, you know.
I know.
Not to give you a hard time, but, you know, this, to me, this is 3 months later, all right? The district, the money's been collected. We're paying now for ALS out of the revenue recovery money that we got last year. And so we're taking on that responsibility to keep the paramedics on
And
duty.
I'm ready to sign that contract. We just have to get our lawyers to say it's okay to sign it.
Right, but it's
I mean, that's
been
what
3
we're-
months and it's crazy, you
How
know?
does that work, Gary, that the recovery money, that just, you bill out and you get it?
No, it goes into a special account for the town. It's considered town money, but it's designed for the ambulance corps. Any monies go into that special account. It stays in there for the whole year. You can't withdraw anything until there's a final accounting and audit of that money. And then anything up to $300,000 goes to the ambulance corps. And anything over $300,000 goes to the town to be put into a designated fund for the ambulance. Now, in the highest amount we've ever collected through revenue recovery was $216,000 last year. The town got $16,000 from the ambulance corps. We were able to get the other $200,000. That's what we're utilizing now to sustain the ALS program.
That was when we put in our budget to give you, to pay for your expenses or an amount of your expenses. Now there's a district that you guys are collecting, whatever that number is,
$550,000. But see, in the district, all right, was $550,000 plus the $300,000 that the town mentioned about revenue recovery, all right? $350,000 of the district money is for ALS service. That goes to Edwards Ambulance down in Sequoia. The $200,000 is operational funds, the cost of readiness, the cost of being in place. The revenue recovery money is the money utilized to purchase ambulances, purchase new equipment. You know, a new ambulance is almost $300,000 in itself, okay? And so we've had an agreement the last many years that the town was paying for the ALS service as a line item in the town budget, and the ambulance corps was getting any revenue recovery that was in that agreement, which was $200,000. The only thing that's different is now we get an extra $200,000 because the district has been formed, and the revenue recovery is still part of the program. So that's the real only increase to the town is that $200,000. So to be told that that somewhere along the line we wanted that more money, the $300,000, is incorrect.
Okay.
Now there are ways of doing that, but that's not this contract. This contract is totally not like that. It'd be great. You want to give us the $300,000? We'll take it, and you can then get the revenue recovery. All right? But that's not how this contract is. And so I just wanted to make a public statement that that information that you got somehow was incorrect.
Well, we apologize for that, and we will definitely talk to the attorney in the morning about it.
I was very,
Yeah, it's something that's got to get straightened out because it's been 3 months, and that money
Absolutely.
is,
Thank you
Like
for
to
all
sign
you
the
do, Gary.
contract and
What's
move
that?
on.
We appreciate you. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has any questions on this contract, you can talk to me whenever you want. You know where the building is. I've got a Dodge pickup truck, gray. If I'm there, you can come down and chat with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much.
Who else would like to speak?
Stop.
Yes.
Want me to do it? Steve
Yeah, I
Hopple.
get shot down. So.
I handed the board a piece of paper at the beginning of the meeting, and I passed that up to some people. At last month's meeting, I inquired of how the board felt about short-term rentals, if it was an issue in our community, and everybody agreed that it was. If you look at that picture at the top of the page, those little blue dots are just the rental homes on one platform. 75 homes just in the middle of town. And, I've asked the board about, what they're looking to do, and so far I've heard, you're looking at different things. Something needs to be done. We can't sit on this for years like we did the first short-term rental. There's going to be no houses left. I mean, Park Avenue, you have one house next to the Hanfords that's getting totally remodeled. Langworthers are getting thrown out of their house. We have to implement something to find a balance for our community, or we're not going to have a community left. And a perfect example with Bar Harbor, Maine. Bar Harbor, Maine capped their housing stock at 9% that are allowed to be used as short-term rentals. Other communities have put stuff in place on limitations on how many days you can rent the home, which will take out the profitability for the people who are buying up houses to make them into a business. If they can't turn them over as a motel, they're not going to be profitable. They'll put them back on the market. And another fact, the New York Supreme Court, as I've told you guys before, has ruled on people renting a house by the night in a residential neighborhood is considered a motel. And our zoning book clearly states you cannot build a motel in a residential neighborhood. And I'm going to ask this board again, when are you going to start enforcing the laws that we have? That our zoning says you can't operate a motel in a residential neighborhood. And these people are doing that. And the New York Supreme Court has ruled on it, that if you rent a house by the night, it is a motel. So I'm asking the board to do something, not just sit in your hands. Go ahead, Tom.
There was a fantastic meeting today with a group of concerned folks, town employees. I happen to have attended it on Zoom, and there's people working towards the zoning review to put it in there to try and get ourselves to getting that to a public hearing, which will totally help us and be something which is relative to some of the stuff you're suggesting. I just don't want to put it all out there and have it be a big old thing that more people come and say we should do this, we should do that, and then add to the length, because in my opinion, time is the biggest issue here when it comes to this. You just like you're saying, we don't have that much more time.
Can you put a moratorium on it, like so that nobody else can start renting them like that?
We're pretty certain that what would be put in place would almost put a moratorium on it itself, and putting a moratorium on it would almost just start that battle, you know, that like round one, here we go, and just make it even more difficult to put through the zoning review. So it's been talked about, and I really truly feel like it's not far away from being public knowledge and going to a public hearing.
What timeline are you looking at?
I really think like next month or so, yeah. The zoning review. The zoning review. We're not discussing changing the short-term rental law. I think we've all come to an agreement that the short-term rental law is for the short-term rentals, and what we're trying to do is consistent with the zoning part of it. So that's why we're trying to get these folks. And I have my opinion on it, but I'm listening to those others involved.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go. So the snowmobile thing, you guys, nobody second Tommy's motion to open the discussion. Means we're done with it?
Well, I would like to speak because I have I've had quite a bit of discussions with a lot of you folks. I had a quite a long discussion with Dan Levy, Councilman Levy. I thought we came to what we thought was going to be a good idea. The motion wasn't that idea, but I did think that I thought we could have a discussion on that and bring this back to how to deal with this.
If we're gonna have a discussion, doesn't somebody have to second Tommy's motion?
I think Mike has a different idea. If you want to put it out there, then please go for it.
What the idea was to take that money that is owed to Inlet and say, we have this money, and I know some people are gonna disagree, but I was trying to make an effort here because I see that there's differences of opinion here, and we're trying to make an effort. The last thing I wanna do is go against Inlet. Inlet has been our neighboring community forever. We share a million things with them, and I don't wanna make that an issue. This has just been a topic that has been discussed, and I thought that maybe if we took that money and we put it into an escrow or something and said, here's your money, but can we at least sit down as humans and discuss this situation? Motion didn't come out like that, so how do I fix that? Maybe I should have
do it right now.
Different.
We'd love to have a meeting with Inlet. I'd love to
If
discuss
that's
it. Every
anything, I
letter
don't
I've
know.
written.
Why can't somebody second Tommy's motion to open the discussion?
But
You
it
say
wasn't-
that, but then when Julie earlier said pick a date, you guys wouldn't pick a date. So you can't say that and then turn around and say that you're willing to have a meeting if you're not even willing to have a meeting.
It has to be both parties involved here, and
There was enough people here to pick a date
You got
tonight.
3 other boards sitting here.
It's a quorum.
okay. I would like to make a motion
something.
to put this money in the escrow, and if we can have this discussion, that the money is there.
I don't really know what that means. It sounds like you're holding it hostage.
Correct.
Yes. We've been held up. It comes to an argument. I don't want to have an argument. We'd just like to have the discussion with that board, because I have heard their comments. And some of them are just like our board. It's back and forth. It's not going anywhere. So I would love to be able to sit down and Dan had discussed take 2 of their members and 2 of our members and sit down and maybe come up with something and then come back, because
Why
10 of
was
us
it
sitting in a
withheld?
room it didn't work.
We can't do it like this either. It's just battering back and
But
forth.
Tommy just made a motion to do that.
We already discussed that. That was done and over with last month.
It was just reopened.
It
was also made in a negative motion.
So why was the money withheld? That's what I'd like to know.
Let's think about
Don't
a
hide behind the
solution.
attorney. Tell us why.
I'm not hiding behind anybody.
I
So
believe
if I
it was
can
brought
say
up in a
something.
meeting
You
that I
sure can.
watched, that somebody
Paul, let me
asked,
talk for a minute.
and
Paul, let me,
She'd like
let
to
me tell
talk
you
for a
something.
minute.
So when I came on board, Mike had told me for years he'd been trying to get a hold of Inlet to discuss this. When George Hildebrandt was here, just before he died, he went through and he spent a lot of time going over a lot of years and realized that Inlet was producing 5% of the sales and we were paying them 14%.
But
So
it's not about sales, it's about miles.
Ben's math is 19%.
And as far as our sport concerns,
Please?
yeah,
Thank you.
what was the original agreement?
Just let her finish.
we asked for the same thing last time too, so.
Was
So-
the original agreement 14 and 86?
that was never,
Yes.
it was never renewed. That's an old
not the
agreement
question.
that was never renewed.
What's the original agreement?
That was the original, years ago.
Then you have to abide by that until
It's canceled.
it is canceled by both parties and you renegotiate at that point.
Well,
But
Bonnie
to
had
withhold
sent a
that
letter
money
to Inlet
for
in
last year is
2022,
wrong.
telling
You can't
that
do
in
that.
2023, she would be sending $50,000 plus expenses.
But is that what was
That's not a
owed totally?
cancellation.
So just so you guys know, in the actual contract in 1988, 89, it's right here, in 5 parts, signed by George T. Hildebrandt and the town of Inlet supervisor at the time, which I think it might have been Peter Clough.
Yep.
Khalil, interesting name. Yep. So it says 86% of the gross receipts of the sale of permits shall be paid to the town of Webb. 14% of the gross receipts of the sale of permits should be paid to the town of Inlet. I understand it's a 30-year-old agreement, I get it, but it was something that for the last 2 years that we haven't paid, or last year that we didn't pay our total, and now we'll be 23, 24. The town of Inlet and the town of Webb are both on this permit, so how fair is it of us to say that we're not gonna give you what was in this implied intermunicipal agreement?
How fair is it, do we to wait out there, come back in here just to have this conversation? I mean, that's where we're at.
Can I just get clarification? If the total owed was $87,000, why only pay 50 and hold back 37? Isn't that implying that you know you owe them money?
So there was a conversation, Bonnie, I think it was like maybe year 1 when we first came on, and
I would caution you not to be engaging in that dialogue. You have a pending claim, possible pending litigation.
There you go,
That's
hiding
true.
behind the attorney again.
That's not true. There's no litigation.
hiding.
There's no litigation.
It is hiding.
There's no litigation.
There's a demand letter.
It's not.
It's not litigation at
It
this
hasn't
point.
been withdrawn.
I
not
just want
litigation.
clarification, I'm a taxpayer, and,
Well,
you
privilege
know,
of the floor is not normally dialogue. It's the ability to address the board and say your
I just want clarification as
Are
to.
you the town attorney?
Are you the
Why
town
it was-
attorney?
I'm
He is
masquerading
one of,
as
he is one of
tonight.
our attorneys, yes, he is a town
For-
attorney.
Yeah.
Why,
For this
why
issue, Bonnie?
portion was
For this
held
issue.
back? I just want clarification for my own reason. Why was only part of it paid? That to me implies that you know you owed them, or you would have paid 0.
I think
So-
probably what
We were trying to work with them.
may help
come back
the
with a new-
discussion a little bit is, she mentioned, George Hildebrandt that was a zillion years ago, okay?
It doesn't matter.
But it's a
still
contract.
binding
Oh, would you let me finish,
agreement,
really? Jesus, you guys ask
right?
questions.
It's a binding agreement.
But I wasn't even going there with that. I have a little bit of
And
an
you withheld
explanation.
$37,000 on a binding agreement. Why?
This
That's
is
what
why
I'm
we don't
asking
get
you,
anywhere.
is why did you withhold it?
I was gonna try to tell you that.
Then tell me.
Okay, so back a long time ago when George Hildebrandt was in there, and that's about how long this all started. He was a supervisor, then we had about 5 different supervisors through this whole thing, okay?
Yeah.
And it had been talked
Aware
about
of
through
that.
budget time, it had been talked about let's talk about this. Let's bring this up. Can we go talk to Inlet and see, maybe they would have done better. I don't know. Maybe we would have gone to 30%. I don't know what the results would have been. We wanted to discuss the contract, okay? It went from one supervisor to another supervisor, and every one that I've seen said, are we ever gonna deal with Inlet? Are we ever gonna talk to them? So somewhere along the line, Robert, I think it was Robert, designed this committee, and I was part of it, because I've been Mr. Snowmobile, I guess. Went up to Inlet, and we had a discussion, and I only one I can tell you, I'm pretty sure Adele was there, I don't know, I think Supervisor Fry, I don't know if he was at the meeting, I can't answer all those questions, I'm sorry, that was a long time ago. We sat there and we discussed it. We didn't come up with anything, we just discussed it. And it just got, basically, to be honest, it got dropped. We just kept paying and everything was fine.
That doesn't explain why.
I know it doesn't, but I'm trying to help you a little bit to try to get to this point. As time went on, we did have, Inlet came down here and we had a discussion, same thing. We want to just discuss this situation.
One last thing, Mike, is I think looking in the past and how it was mishandled prior to the board, prior to the supervisors, is it fair to put the people that are currently in position in that compromising spot to be able to do what's right with it? So I would go much further here with this board to say, I will bet you that the majority of the town of Webb taxpayers and the people will all support paying this money. I really would
100%.
suggest you take that into consideration as you are against paying this amount.
Everyone understands why we have a bad connotation towards snowmobilers now. I mean, this is it. And Bonnie said in 2 or 3 meetings ago, in I think it was February, I don't know why we need a snowmobile committee. This is why.
More people will pay this.
And now we're trying to do this, and you guys are all just like poo-pooing us. Like, we didn't start these problems, but they need fixing.
I still didn't get an answer. Why did you only pay 50?
Well, I was
Like,
kind of trying.
I was
Right.
respectful of the lawyer's
No,
words
you know
there
why?
because of the
Because,
contract.
so, the 50 came from, you had a discussion with Mike Farmer. And the 50,000 plus what Inlet made came to the 5% as to what they.
What does Mike Farmer have to do?
Yeah. Because they're the ones that do the permits, so they have.
They know the numbers.
They know the
Okay.
numbers. So it came to the 5%.
But there's a,
And Inlet was given a letter in
so we're all
22.
fixated on the sale of the ticket. We're driving all the decisions on the economics on this
And-
based on who sells more of the ticket.
Which is very silly.
Has anybody asked who sold, what percentage they sold this year? Because I
No,
believe
they
it's
changed
more than their 14. Exactly.
Right.
You didn't
About
give
the
them
ones
enough
that are
time.
Stillwater,
They need
too.
to
You did not
discuss
give
it
them
this year.
enough time for them to show you that they could help you sell their percentage of the ticket. And the monster change in the sale of tickets came when we went online. Technology, it's at the phone, it's at our fingertips.
And who cares
And
where
that
it was
changed.
sold?
And our clients
It doesn't matter.
do not care about where that ticket was sold.
At all.
They're here to support this entire area. It is short-sighted, all of it. It is ridiculous. And the economic statement that says you don't know how to budget it or pay the difference, you also didn't budget on this side where you brought in more revenue. So one goes hand in hand. So it makes no sense where you can't find the money because it was never in your budget to begin with, but this revenue side, this extra money was not there either. That is bait. Correlation goes evenly together. It makes zero sense, the economic statement that you can't find the extra money or you didn't budget for it, because you also didn't budget for the extra revenue that came in your pocket as well. You should have been able to take $14 to the side and say, we didn't plan for this, but we got to keep 86 of this as well and use it for anything in this township. We don't care where you use the money, folks. We just think it's ridiculous that you're playing with our income in the winter and our sport, and you're making the decisions based on who sells the ticket or where.
We don't
I'm
care
sorry.
as the business people, but the public cares. And the more you guys hide behind it, the worse it's gonna get. And that's what we've been trying to do with John Khalil, is just get some transparency going here. And you guys have yet to clarify anything. No budgets have been released, nothing.
Still haven't answered my
You
question.
guys have taken $1.1 million or more since 2018. Almost to $1.4 million. You can't give them their percentage of the cut. It leaves you with almost $950,000 to $1 million to spend. And I promise you, you are not spending that much money. So where is the extra money going? And I don't care. It's the fact that we're going to determine this
Here's some.
And how silly would we be to give up all this extra money? And then it goes back to the notion that if we don't renew this contract, we're dropping ticket prices. And what did we accomplish anyways? We're actually taking money out of our own pocket, and we made an enemy with our neighbor for no reason. And I promise you, if we don't fix this in 2 years, this township will be looking at a $700,000 debt service to be made up. So you will now affect all taxpayers. And if you don't believe that, I promise you it will come to fruition if you've done the math and looked at this. So please do the right thing, pay them. Let's not table this in escrow, okay? And then pay them, and let's go back to the tables where they have asked for 2 members and 2 members to sit down in a room with a mediator in between them. Somebody involved with snowmobiling who cares about our industry, please.
I think
The meeting will probably be at the tow bar.
better start listening to this group out here.
100%.
Because right now, you're not listening to us. And Mike, you've been sitting there for 20 years. So,
I got ahead of this.
you should know better than this. You've been there the longest. You should absolutely know better than this.
We have people marketing our area and using it against us. That's sad. And honestly, Mike Farmer should be here helping us fight for our cause, our winter economics.
Mike did apologize for not being here. He's got a family emergency.
I understand, but he did not support us in the last meeting. He wanted to talk about sales numbers.
Or the last 5 winters.
And we understand that winters have changed. That's why we're asking for your help to do more with less. That's what the ask is. And this did not come out of nowhere. We asked ahead of time. And we've been told and shunned about bringing it into this board meeting. And now, because we have gotten nothing, we are here griping at you like this. And we don't want to. But we had a 5-hour meeting the other day, and I feel like it did not go very far. Because we're sitting here having this conversation after this board meeting. So I feel like I wasted 5 hours of my life the other night.
Who did you meet with?
We met with Mike for 5 hours, and I thought it was very, very productive. And we put statistics in front of you. And please, let's not break down the trail permit price for their, you don't know what their expenditures are.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
It doesn't matter what
Our clients do not care. And I think that's the biggest thing. You're not listening to the people that are paying for that trail permit.
If you want to go in the future, like Ben was talking about, and go by miles of trails, you can do that in the future. You can't do that now. You have an agreement. And I still haven't got an answer, Bonnie, as to why you withheld that money.
I sent them a letter in 2022 stating that they would get $50,000 and we would like to go to the bargaining table with them.
But did the board vote on that?
Do
It
that.
didn't work out for
You
us.
have an agreement.
Did the board vote
Why
on
did
that?
you do that?
Pardon me?
Why did you go against an agreement?
It was a discussion.
It was
To force it?
No, I was asked to look into it when I came into office. I was told it was an unfair agreement by several people, and I was asked to look into it. So when I called the lawyer and I looked into it, he told me that since 1987 or 88, it was null and void. We had never renewed it. We were supposed to look at it.
But you honored it until 2 years ago.
And the board didn't even vote on saying no.
So truthfully, I just looked into this
Did you
because
vote on
people
no?
asked me to. It wasn't something that I came in and said, I hate snowmobiling and I'm gonna
Well, that
end
sure
it.
as hell was.
I was a snowmobiler until I couldn't do it anymore.
We should also get out of the notion that this is taxpayer money. It is a business ran by the town of Webb and the town of Inlet. And it should be treated like that.
Thank you. Yes.
Before blood is drawn, why don't we throw the flag? You need to have 2 people or 3, how many ever, set the details and set the meeting. Just end this whole, I mean, you guys can argue back and forth for 10 hours.
I'd ask you, would that be okay with that, with this money still in
Not
there?
getting anywhere now.
This
Set up
money
the
should be-
meeting.
We would like to just have a meeting.
Come to an
Dangling
agreement.
money in the air. Let's have a meeting.
It's
Let's talk about it.
simple, guys. Come to an agreement.
What I've asked for
Whatever they
all of
agree on.
these letters
This money
for
should be
2 years.
As per
I've asked for a
agreement.
meeting.
You have 3
Yes,
board
but
members
meeting
here
means
that are
nothing.
probably
Just
willing.
You have a meeting.
You got 3 board members here willing to be on, probably willing to be on the committee.
Absolutely.
You can pick your 2 and their 2 and pick a meeting, and so this ends, or you could argue this till freaking
We have a snowmobile committee. Kyle and Mike.
Halloween.
Kyle and Mike are on our snowmobile committee, so why don't we have
How,
the two of them meet with two board
Would you like to
members?
speak, Dan?
Sure.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Could everybody just, for once, just put your egos aside for a second? I'm a business owner. I care about this community to my core. I'm embarrassed that I have people calling me up that stay with us, that this town is doing this. If there's a contract, finish out your contract, end it, pay them, so that when you guys come to the table, you don't have it, you can put that bad blood away and we can be adults and work through this differently. And then let's try to figure out how to repair all this damage. And we're still in a position we could, because people love this town. It's everybody else's town besides ours. When my guests come, it's their spot. It's their town. It is. They come here, they support us. Could we please just put your egos away, everyone, and let's pay them, get a committee, figure out where this could be good for tourism, because our winters are looking bleak.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Mike and Kyle, would you like to talk to the board members and ask them which two, or if Mr. Fry, Supervisor Fry, if it's not the three of them, who you'd like to meet with? And when you would like to.
Sure, and I would be part of it too, I mean.
That's fine.
Yep.
James a heavy rider.
So, pick a date.
Would you be opposed to somebody from the advocacy group board being present at that meeting?
I think it would be wise.
I'm not.
I think it would be wise.
That would be wise.
So that we can hear both sides from both townships. And get over this he said, she said stuff.
Yep.
Kyle, Mike, we're looking for an answer from one of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, I'll be involved unless one of you guys wanna step up.
Okay, but the
I think
question
it
is
should be
to the board,
the
can,
snowmobile.
whoever's in
Yes.
charge, can you put these bad feelings aside, stop going back to the past, and look for a solution for the future? Because if you can't do that, you gotta pick somebody else that can. I mean, we teach this to kindergartners, how to work together.
I think the good gesture is to finish paying the debt service that's due before this meeting is even had. So it has
Let them set the meeting up, for Christ's sake.
I know.
Stop, just for 5 seconds,
We're
let
gonna-
them set up an actual
Ben-
meeting. Just let it happen.
Ben and I just had a small side conversation. He's gonna take my spot because he's heavier in the snowmobiling community than I am. I snowmobile, not that much. Ben has a better way to go about it.
Sounds good.
I wasn't.
You know what,
I
maybe
wasn't-
they need something new.
I respect Bonnie's, request, so I'm just saying.
Well, I was just thinking it was a committee to begin with, so but if Mike or Kyle wants to step down and give Ben his position, that's fine.
And I will take all the backlash out of what was there and start fresh. How's that sound?
I think we all need to start
But
fresh.
really honestly, I really, everybody's been mentioned, there's 3 members of the board here, and I haven't heard any of them talk. I would really, if you guys would like to speak up,
We
I would
weren't
love
allowed
to hear
to
it.
before this. We had to wait outside.
Now we have to go
I'm
into
asking-
executive session.
I was just asking if one of these guys could at least speak to this
Okay, I
situation.
mean, I can speak to it. I feel pretty much what's been said in here is that we had a contract. You changed it after the season, in my opinion. I don't know about a letter. Letter might have said we want to do this, but it never said we agreed to do it. So in my estimation, at the end of last year, I was expecting a check for $87,000. I didn't get one. I got one for $50,000. Then I sent a letter saying we want the rest of our money. I mean, you know, people get, well, maybe there was a mistake. Why don't you give us some money? And then we went a whole nother year doing the same thing. So in order for me to say something, I had to say, you're not going to start selling permits again because now you're going to add us into the contract for another year without discussing this. So I had to say, we can't start the next year until we've dealt with the past 2. Someplace, somewhere, we had to draw a line. That's what I did. You know, now, yes, we can get together. I want to get together and meet. I do believe that you owe us the money. You know, I'd like to negotiate for the future. Who knows where we'll go with it? But we have another problem, and that's that we just decided to go free. So do we go back? How is that going to work? It's going to take some discussion. I want to get together. You tell me when you want to get together, we'll get together and talk.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Set up the meeting sooner than later.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, sorry.
There's something that occurs to me that's not really being said. On our permits, it says inlet and it says town of Webb. For all the years up until last year, you guys set precedents by splitting the money exactly how it was supposed to be split. And I'm saying this as I've been working with the town boards and everything as a planning board chairman for a lot of years. If you guys have set a precedence by continuing the contract as is, that now all of a sudden breaking the contract almost is like breaching the contract. And that's the view that I see that people are seeing out here in the general public. And I just want you to be aware of where everybody's head is, because I'm getting questions as a planning board chairman, and people are questioning me like, what's going on? And I think the precedence has been set, and you guys need to make good on the contract from what it was and then start anew. That's my opinion on it. And I'm here, I represent a lot of parts of this town when it comes to being a planning board chairman, and I did it in Inlet for 14 years as well. And I think on both sides, not doing this and letting the town of Inlet go free and letting this stuff fester, the loss of permits that are going to be happening, which I watch the social media sites, I read all the stuff that goes on. If you get 10% of the people that are coming to this town that are not going to buy permits anymore, they are not coming to this town. And if we lose them to another town or another area, they are not coming back. That is our money for the year. And as a business owner, it is going to hurt everybody, not just motels, restaurants. It's going to hurt the entire economy. You guys need to work together. You guys need to get this squared away, and you need to do it now.
And if Inlet was on the permit for the last 2 years, Inlet needs to get the period.
My phone out.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good day.
Bonnie, I just got one question.
Yep.
I'm not being facetious or anything, but Tommy read a pretty powerful statement where he kind of felt like he was beat up on, and they don't always agree. We don't agree on the planning board a lot. We have a healthy discussion. But how does a whole public meeting minutes disappear where there's no record of it? Tommy said.
It was on this recording right here,
Yeah.
and Dawn didn't know how to go out to save the folder. So when we went into executive session, when she came out, she didn't save the folder.
Just looks bad, that's all. That's my.
I know it does.
Okay.
So she cried over it. So
No, that's-
I hope everybody's happy.
There's no way to recreate,
Threw
like,
her under the
do you
bus
have to
for it.
recreate something to, you gotta enter something in the record?
Wow.
Pardon me?
I said, don't you have to recreate from memory or?
Well, she took some notes.
Notes,
Not
yeah.
blame Dawn
She did
at any
take
point
notes.
that I blame.
No, I'm not blaming either, I just didn't know what happened, I'm just
I know,
curious.
I'm just saying, it wasn't done on purpose. I heard everybody's comments about how they thought it was. And all the snickering in the crowd, and it wasn't.
I just wanna
It was a
clarify.
mistake made by her.
Should we set a date for a meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please do. Calendar, what are you guys looking at?
I can't do it tomorrow. Other than that, tell me when you can do it.
I'm heading out of town tomorrow.
Okay.
On Sunday.
Okay?
For a bachelor trip. Anytime after that.
Anytime after that.
You coming back Sunday?
Late. Midnight.
So you'd be rearing and ready on Monday or Tuesday? What's better for you?
Take a Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
I've got nothing on my calendar Tuesday, so. Tuesday, 21st?
Both
What
days.
time?
What works for you guys?
No, you,
Yeah,
Right.
better.
Tuesday night?
Monday, Tuesday.
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, what works? What, you, sun prefers, what?
whatever works for you guys. As long as it's after, pretty much after dark helps me out a lot. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Sure, whatever.
All right, perfect.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here,
Thank you.
and I'll bring back Tommy's thing that I'll make the motion that we pay him that, the money we owe.
I'll second that motion.
That'll be discussed.
This is the $37,000. We're
And
voting to pay
following
it.
year?
Well, we have to, I would like to discuss some of that, because as far as I can understand, that doesn't include the expenses, but I don't know what that means, so it's,
Is that just? gonna
there's a
be
number
for
that we have to
Yeah,
fill
This year,
out.
Mike? or is that
That'll
gonna
have
be
to
for
come
this
out
year
that
also?
number.
The 23 and 24 has not been determined.
Yeah, let's not talk about 23, 24 right now. Let's concentrate on that, and I believe it came off of a letter that we received from you, that amount of money. So you might wanna look back
Okay.
and see if that letter was sent to us, because that's where I think I got my information.
So the amount is, Mike, if you
I
want
didn't
to.
bring that at all. I got the
I'm
other-
sure I probably have that letter or
Yeah.
that correspondence somewhere, this is a lot of stuff.
37,208.20.
20 cents. If you want to repeat
That amount.
Yeah, that amount.
I will second the motion to pay him that $37,208.20.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Lindsay,
Aye.
Councilman Hannah,
Yay.
Councilman Greco,
Aye.
Councilman Ross,
Aye.
Councilman Baker, or Supervisor Baker.
Nay.
You heard, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
It's about time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have to stick with what I feel, guys, so that's why I do what I do.
You
Sorry.
should represent the people, Bonnie.
I did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I did.
Not the ones
There's
here
people that
tonight.
aren't here that I
Could we get
represent.
back to what we are doing?
I'd like to make a motion to pay the audit claims.
I'll second it.
Paying the money.
Just vote
All in favor?
Unanimous a lot.
Opposed? Thank you. I'd like a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mark.